Hello and welcome back to the Minetrek.net game server. This will be update 23 for the Enterprise E build. It's been a pretty busy last couple of days. M. Heller has been on labeling. Panic was on, did some work on the phaser strips and on the escape pod hatches, and he also put in a couple of lifts. I see somebody went ahead and extended the lifts down here. If you're going to do that, you've got to compass where you want the doors to be. So please figure out where you want the doors. And I noticed down here that the lift machinery was labeled life machinery, which threw me for a loop. Yeah, make sure you correctly label it so that we know it's not life support but lift support. And it looks like it's was copied wrong, if you can see here. Looks like it's got a little extra bits here. So anywho, be careful when you do your copying and stuff. And the power and stuff like that can be fed in from down here, so yeah, I don't see a problem. We'll figure it out in post. When I designed the ship, I originally designed it for one type of pipe, this one. It looks like we're going to be using 3 types of pipe. That one, and this one. This is for information, this is for water, and this is for power. Now, when I initially did stuff, I kind of planned for 1 to 2. You know, I figured we'd probably use one of these. But M wants to do 3, and it's going to be a little bit of a problem as we've ran into issues with it already. I do have these 3 lines routed between the primary section here and the engineering section back there, and I'm in the process now of working to get them routed throughout the rest of the ship to key areas. It's not feasible to route them everywhere, so they have to be routed to specific points and connect to whatever along the way they can get connected to. What I've done here is we're going to hide this stuff in the floor, and it'll also be hidden in the roof because it'll be half slabs. But basically the carpet will hide this stuff, and then this is a wall. What I've done is on this side I have this on this side, and up here it's on that side. So from this way here I can avoid having to come up with crossovers and stuff like that. Things that need liquids on the aft section will feed off of this line, and things that need liquids in the fore section will feed off of this line. Same thing for information. Information forward off of this one, information aft off of this one. This has its own power, it's off its own rails here. So I don't know if this needs to be routed in here, but it can be if we want to now. We just route them along the corridor paths here. I just want to avoid getting these things all over and stepping on toes. I want to try and keep them as neat as possible. As you can see here, we have both liquid and a information line that feeds back to another trunk here, which goes up and down along this area that M has set aside as life support. There are 2 sections. There's this section, I think the one above it, or maybe even the one below it for life support. This is waste control, so it has mainly liquid. And I also routed, information up here to the upper part of this hollow suite, and then I ran it down here as well, so that this information line, because you're going to, computer control and all that stuff to be done for the hollow suites, it routes it to here to these hollow suites up to this system here. Again, it's gonna take some practice and a little bit of fine-tuning to get these routed where we need them. It's probably going to be one of those ongoing basis from now till the end of the project. So it's not a real high priority for me, but it's something that we'll be working on as we do it. I just want to get some key lines set up so that we can feed off of them to main ship systems that are actually in the ship already. And had me add a couple more transporters to the outer side of the ship, including 2 emergency and 2 regular transporters. Emergency transporter here, regular transporter here, and then we have some areas that can now be labeled. And then we have some more areas that can now be labeled to another standard transporter, and then another big area that can be labeled for something else, and an emergency transporter with locker or whatever you want to put in here. So, as you can see, experimenting a little bit with how to route the power lines, hiding them under the carpet. The reason that's there is so people know it's a wall You know, if I don't do that, God only knows how it'll get screwed up. I have no faith that, you know, people can read my mind, so it's best to kind of indicate to them what my intention is whenever I can. Again, all this will be hidden, so by carpet. And what's not hidden, you know, it's not hidden. We'll do what we can. As I said, Em's been going through doing a nice job on labeling everything, which really helps, because now I know what space that I had set aside a lot of space, but I had no idea what to put in it. So, and I didn't want to just fill all the crew quarters because you know, it's impractical. You know, you can have so many crew, but you know, you don't want everything being crew quarters. But so Em went through and he labeled it, and these will all be quarters through here, so I can set them up to be crew quarters. That's pretty nice. I like that. Oh, what's this? What's this? Did that say garden? No, shield gen. Yeah, this will be an inboard, or excuse me, an outboard shield generator. It doesn't need to be as big as the inboard one, where I've set aside both 2 decks for it. This shield generator is going to be slightly larger. It'll be almost 2 decks tall when I'm done with it. It'll come up to here. It'll also be the countermass system, the IDF system, and the SIF system. A big ship like this needs all those systems, especially if it's got slipstream drive, which this being a post-Nemesis version does. Anywho, what else we got going on here? Like I said, I panic reworked the phaser strips, as you can see up here. And he also redid the escape pod hatches. I may have covered this in a previous video, but he did. He spent a lot of time reworking these phasers, and they do look a lot better, both top and bottom phasers, or dorsal and ventral, whatever. He's also been working on the hangar bay back here, the revised hangar bay. All work on the ship hangar bay has been put on hold while we work on revised hangar bay. We gotta wait for it to chunk load here. There it is. As you can see, he's just been kind of just working on it slowly, but he's, you know, he's made progress, which is more than I can say I've done with it. I do want to do some work down here in the lower section, so I may actually mirror it and move it. I'll have to move it to mirror it, or else I might hit the warp nacelle. Because I want to work something out. I want to see how much space we actually have. So it will be very important to actually have correct sized shuttles that we're going to be using on the build. As mentioned before, this shuttle is just a rework of the bomb one. It's slightly shorter, narrower, and less wide, so it can fit in here in the parking space nicely, and as well as in the main hangar. I believe the bomb's been working on the nacelle. Like you can see through there, it looks like that they have been. I'll show you that some other time. I haven't had a chance to talk to DeBomb if he wants to show that off or not. So, anyways, I want to wait till I talk to him. Blue Phobes was on, and he was doing some tweaking or refined work, it looked like, on the upper hangar here. I'm not sure if Matt's been on or not. I know Panic was on, and he did some work, quite a bit of work up here cleaning stuff up. We did have some ugly-ass Cyclops shuttles in here, and they've been removed, and I really like how this looks, guys. Ooh, you guys are really doing a nice job with this design, all of you. Blue Phobes, Panic, Mad Squirrel, everyone. Nicely done through there. It looks great, guys. It really does. Looks kind of like medieval steampunk gothic, you know. When I came on, not Mad, but Blue Phobes was working on this area here. So, yeah, hey guys, just a side note. If you put up walls, please don't leave them up. Or if you do, put a sign on them saying they're not temporary. Don't put any interior corridor walls up. I understand you're going to have to in areas that you're working on. You may require it, but please label them as not permanent or take them down when you're done. That way, people don't get confused and start building off of them. When I go through and I start setting up the columns, I want them aligned between all the decks throughout the length of the ship and width of the ship, and that's going to take me a lot of time. And if I have to go and tear out walls and reset stuff, it's just going to be a huge waste of my time, and I want to avoid that at all possible, if at all possible. It's a lesson I learned with the Enterprise C build. So please let me set up the columns before we put in any walls. That way we know the columns are in. If you look at the Voyager, that's how we did the Voyager, and it went by real quick. Once they were in, the walls went up real fast. I've been setting aside a list of things that I want to put in the medical complex. As I said, I've added a couple of extra, I may not have said it in this video, but I've added a couple extra holosuites for the medical bay here. They're basically rehabilitation. I only need four 4 of them, two per side, so we should be fine with that. We will be fine with that, so I'm not even worried about it, because they got so many other holo suites and holodecks on board the ship that they can use for recreational or rehabilitation purposes, but these 4 can definitely be used. I got to set aside OR rooms and all kinds of setup stuff for the medical complex, and a lot of this space here can be utilized as medical and such. So we've got a lot of space that we're going to be filling up here real quick. There's the power line for the egg is right there. Just haven't pushed it through yet. And went ahead and cleared this section out. It'll be probably catwalks or something. This is the imaging equipment for the egg. And that's about pretty much it. A lot of work on the tanks and stuff has been done. As I said, I went through and labeled a bunch of stuff. I've routed a bunch of power lines underneath here because it's 1 meter crawl space under there, and I can put more stuff in there if I want. But I went ahead and I went through here and I set up the labs and all this stuff through here, the plans for this area, nice big lounge area. These aren't just aquatic tanks, but they're also rare atmosphere tanks. So if there's a need to say you have a methane breather, well, you can set it up to be methane gas, say, or liquid methane or methane gas, whatever. Same thing with these tanks. Zip on over here real quick and to the transporter. We moved this corridor to the center so that this area can now be utilized as a crossover between the tanks. I went ahead and set up this passageway here, or airlock, gas lock, whatever you want to call it. And down here again, I've just been working through here, setting up the labs and little areas for people to walk and view the tanks from down below. Some more labs and a nice little lounge area. And we're back into this section here. I've been filling in the turbo shafts as I get time, as I come to them and stuff. I forgot what they were called there for a moment. Derp, derp, derp. Anyways, we have a space down here that I'm utilizing as a crawl space as well. I'm routing both the ODN, the liquid, and the power lines through. I guess these would be ODN lines or fiber lines, whatever the hell they're called. You got power on this side, and you got these two on this side. Plus, I can route extra power over here if I need it. And then we can put all kinds of stuff in here, tanks, machinery, all kinds of other stuff as we need it. So we don't have to, overstuff everything else. This is a piston door, but it only opens from one side, so yeah, let's go through there. I added an extra corridor down here. M's double-walled this. I think this is going to be a cargo bay. Yep, large cargo bay. It's part of the main cargo deck, so that stands to reason that would be a cargo bay. Down here, I rerouted this a little bit, or changed it around a little bit, so we now have a corridor along this inside wall. So they're along the hole, so we can put windows there. It's nice, I like it. And that's pretty much it. It's just been a lot of tweaking and working on stuff here and there. There's some new news, or some good news, or whatever you want to call it, on the Facebook page. If you would check out the Facebook page, that would be great. I think it's fbminetrek.net. So it's got some interesting information about an upcoming feature that Minetrek's been included with for Minecraft. Again, check out the Facebook page for more information. Also, Bluefroze has been taking a lot of really interesting images of the ship and other builds that he's been putting on the Facebook page. So feel free to check that out as well. And if you'd hit the like button for us, we'd greatly appreciate it. I do appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos. And we like to document what we're doing, and sometimes they get a little long-winded, and I do apologize for that. I'm not the greatest narrator. I only started recording videos just because people were asking to see what we're doing. And, I just continue doing it. It's kind of fun for me to do. I'll keep doing it as long as I can. And I do appreciate it if you'd hit the like button for me, as it kind of tells me a yay or nay. Otherwise, don't worry about it. I don't care. But they say to ask, so I'm asking. Please hit the like button for us, because I've been asked to ask you to hit the like button, so please hit the like button. Please. Anyways, begging aside, I do appreciate you taking the time to watch, and I do hope you have a wonderful day. And again, this is the Minetrek.net game server. Bye-bye.